You found product market fit, but now the systems are cracking. The team needs you for everything. Growth feels like quicksand. The more you move, the deeper it pulls you in. This is the scaling paradox, where founders and operators come to get unstuck. I'm your host, Blake Moseni, and I sit down with founders and operators that nearly burnt out and rebuilt their business to run without them. If you're stuck in the middle, this is where we fix it.
And when I explored my leadership style, I realized that I'm ready to let many things go to the person that I truly believe. And overall, if I'm hiring the person, I believe in them. Right, like why I hired them. I made a few mistakes. One of them, it was all around all hands.
Today's guest is Danil Saliukov, the CEO and co-founder of Incense, an 8-figure creative marketing platform trusted by thousands of brands to scale paid social and authentic creator content. Under Danil's leadership, Incense has become the go-to partner for e-commerce and D2C brands looking to source and scale high-performing UGC, working directly with vetted creators to power the growth on TikTok, Instagram, and beyond. Let's dive in.
I made a lot of mistakes, including for the delegation. So yeah, happy to share some of them.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, I think to your point, this is part of the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you is I know Incense has done amazing work over the last 8 years or so. And it would be great to hear some examples. Maybe you could just start off with one to anchor us in where delegation used to go sideways for you back in the day, and how did you feel as that happened?
Yeah, look, it's interesting when it comes to the delegation and when I explored my leadership style, I realized that I'm ready to let many things go to the person that I truly believe. And overall, if I'm hiring the person, I believe in them. Right, like why I hired them, but when it comes to some specific areas of the things, I made a few mistakes. One of them, it was all around all hands. So currently we have all hands that everyone is invited to bi-weekly meetings, and we're just sharing what are the results, anything about the industry, about the updates in the team, and things like that, right? I've been leading this for a long time, and we have been experimenting a lot with all hands. Should it be shorter, like just 30 minutes? Should it be like 2 hours? But we're going to be covering a lot. Should it be weekly, bi-weekly? What are the topics we're going to be sharing? Is it going to be reporting, or is it going to be more like a space to chat between different team members? So we have done a lot of experiments, and until last year, I was the one who have been putting together all slides, making sure that all speakers will fulfill these slides, think about like what is going to be the flow of all of these slides. And I've been in the business for, 7 years, right?
Sure.
And I realized that I don't like it. I mean, I like all hands. I like the vibes. It's fascinating, but I don't have a lot of time to really reflect on what kind of the topics could be, or kind of like what speakers should be prepared and things like that. So I don't like it. And this is every time that I found a challenge that either I'm just copy pasting what have been done before because I don't have time. I forgot to put some holder in my calendar to take a look and deeply reflect what is really important and things like that. So, and every time I wasn't satisfied with all hands, and I know some of our team members, they were thinking about why it's a reporting meeting. You can just share the loom of all of the updates, how to make it really engageable. And then I caught myself that my problem with delegation was all around not something that you hire the person and then you just provide this opportunity to fulfill, but it's also about your job description, being the CEO or co-founder of the business, right? And I realized that all hands, by all meanings, it's more about the CEO work, right? So it should be like coming from the senior leadership, and I'm the senior leadership. We are the team of 50, so it doesn't make sense to kind of like pass along this preparation to anyone else, and that's why it's part of my job description, basically. And this is one of the hardest lessons that I learned, that it's not. If you don't like it, you find the person who actually genuinely love it, and you pass along. You just agree on that. And I think I've been in these shoes like for 7 years, basically beating myself and doing every single week something that I don't like. I just don't like to make sure and control everyone that they're going to be fulfilled these slides. I don't like to realize what could be changed on a constant basis specifically for the all hands. I'm better focusing on sales. I'm better focused on business development, partnerships, product development, things that I genuinely love, right? And then when I realized, and I think that's one of the principles of delegations also, just understanding where you can be the best version of yourself and make a difference. And I think this is really important for everyone, but specifically for being CEO or co-founder of the business. Just allocate your time towards something that makes the difference, incremental revenue, incremental shifts in behaviors in the team and things like that. So it's better to allocate your time there. And once I realized that, I spoke to our head of talent, and he's amazing. He's Brazilian. And the guy like genuinely loved this. So he loves putting a thought, putting the topics, making sure that everything works, everyone is aligned, controlling and making sure that the all hands is going to be smooth and interesting. And he allocated for me 5 minutes opener for every single presentation. So basically every single 2 weeks, I need to fulfill only 5 minutes introductions about, like, let's say how we performed last month, what are the objectives, maybe something about industry, something that is important to share from the CEO level. And that was one of the hardest lessons to learn, is that you can assume that something that you cannot delegate because it kind of feels that it's part of your job description, but it might be not. You can also renegotiate. There are only a few things that you have to do, like talking to investors. This is something that I cannot delegate. This is my job. This is impossible. But like all hands, yeah, let's go. Like if someone is ready to back up you and deliver way better results than you, go for it. And yeah, I think that was a lot of realization around this.
Are there other examples that you have where you tried to delegate down early on in the early days of Incense, where you tried to delegate and you felt like you were still doing all the work, or you were still getting pulled back in? Do you have any examples there that are top of mind?
Yeah, another example that I want to share, that was the early days of Incense. It's also interesting. It's all about my role model of being a leader. And then if someone will say that I'm a leader like that, that's not true. So you can explore a lot about your leadership style, and it's going to be also evolving really fast sometimes. So that's why I remember the early days. I was pushing the entire team to make a big progress every single month, every single week, right? And for that, we had weekly team meetings where we set up the goals. I mean, ideally, we need to set up the goals prior to the meeting. But if that wasn't the case, so let's set up the goals. But then what I realized that it's not the right way, because it's not enough space for people to actually deeply think about what are the targets for the week. And some of those goals, they were not tailored for 1 week. So what actually happened with me is that instead of me delegate this part to my team and figure out what is the best way to set up the goals, let's say like switch to the monthly and making sure that they're going to be putting those targets for themselves, I was starting doing the goals for them. I wasn't like not saying like you need to do that against their own opinions, but they were not well prepared. Then I started putting a lot of efforts on myself. Oh, if they didn't have time to properly think, then I need to find this time to think for them. So every Saturday I was reflecting on some of these objectives and so on. And in that case, what it creates the behavior of that one person kind of dictate what will be happening in the company, and the other are just follows, because they don't have the opportunity to reflect and understand what is really important to do and accomplish within this month, not even this week. And that was absolutely bad decision, because instead of figure out like different frames, like time frames or specific or the goals, I made a bet like of not delegating this to my team back, but putting this on my shoulders. And okay, I got you. If you don't have time, I can do this for you. So instead of that, people didn't trust in these goals and so on. Once we switched to more longer term planning, not on weekly. Weekly is great for syncing up with your team. The targets should be longer, let's say a month or even 3 months, right? So in that case, it helps people to be not only in operations or tactical things, but also put themselves out of those smaller things every single day to more like a strategic level, and then deeply reflect of what will be happening. And instead of chasing and saying that, yeah, this week you need to accomplish these couple of designs. So you're saying that we need to fix this product metric by the end of the quarter. I don't care like how many designs, features you're going to be doing that. You will figure out. You're smarter than me. That's why I hired you. So just tell me. And then on a weekly basis, you would be surprised that people are going to be sharing the updates and things like that. And you constantly discovering, oh, wow, I never thought about this. That's so cool that you actually came up with an idea. That's going to be the area of your focus for your team. Yeah, it's been a long way to learn this lesson, but it's all about delegation. It's also sometimes a team might not have the time. So the smarter way is to find and redo the time frames, ways of work, and things like that, rather than, okay, I got you, I'll help you to figure out the goals. Like that was not the smartest idea.
Why do you think most founders fall into that trap? Why did you fall into that trap early on? And maybe it alludes to some of the things I called out, but what's based off some of the founders you know in your own personal experience that fall into that trap?
Yeah, I think to your point, the number first one is this hero mode. Right, because you truly believe in your vision, where do you go, and things like that. So that's why you're ready to sacrifice a lot from your personal life, working hours, and so on. That's why whenever you're hearing that someone cannot do that because of less priorities or things that they don't believe, you're saying like, I got you, I'll do it myself, like no question asked. And then and you taking more and more projects on your plate, and you're not performing really well. So like this hero mode is definitely one of the key things to learn about yourself and understanding. Yes, you need to keep pushing, but you need to have the alignment of your team. If your team is not aligned with you, you can be like a Superman, but you need to have like your team like to accomplish the task, right? So you're gonna do like everything at once, even though like you are Superman in your company, right? So this is like number one. The second one is that when you're just starting the business, you don't know like many things. Product market fit, who is your ideal customer profile, what is the pitch, and things like that. So there is a lot of uncertainty. And then within this uncertainty, it's really hard to operate when it comes to the delegation or finding the right goals to delegate. Like the right things to delegate, because maybe what you assume with your team or yourself, it's not going to be a right thing when it comes to the channels, when it comes to the things like that. So that's why instead of wasting time that you brought on board, you want to then focus on something that is clear, and you're going to be continuing exploring many things that are still uncertain. So in that case, it's also the trap. So you're going to be the only person who keep innovating and keep exploring, but not your team. So this is another insight that happened with me, that you need to make sure that you have a space for your team and they have a clear priority and the time, let's say in Q3 only, to take a look on this area and figure out how it might work or maybe not. But they need to be innovators alongside with you. Otherwise, you're going to be just constantly alone, constantly exploring the things, and your team is going to be executing something that actually works. But that's not the way how the best teams operate, I truly believe.
Well, it's so interesting, and I do want to unpack both things you called out around the hero mentality as well as this idea of picking the right work. But really what I'm hearing you say in that last piece is, build a team around your mission. Don't build a team around you. Because if you build a team around you, you're always going to be the place where the potential of the business caps at you, or you're always having to be responsible because no one is taking ownership of the work that's being delegated down to them.
Absolutely. Mission and clearly understanding why they feel that this mission is great and this company is great career step for me. That's also something that I keep asking my team, and I'm talking to not only my team but the entire team of Incense. I'm always saying that, look, Incense is just a step in your career. I don't expect anyone who's going to be working with Incense for 20 years, 30 years. I think like we are well behind of this age of people who have been working in the same company for 10 years, even 5 years. 5 years right now, it's kind of like challenging to find that people are going to be working at the same place. So that's why you need to clearly understand like why I'm here and what I'm finding in this mission and vision, why this industry, why this product. So once you figure out that there is a strong alignment, these people will continue pushing forward, because I also realize that, and I'm constantly challenging, am I the right person for this position? Because I'm a founder of the business.
Sure.
The CEO is the role. It's how I'm getting my salary. But am I right? Am I the right person right now? This is kind of the question that you need to ask ourselves, because I don't have like such a strong ego just being the CEO to be named the CEO. I don't care about that. What I'm care is the success of my company, because that's how I can get my exit and a lot of benefits why I'm there, right? So that's why I'm also constantly challenging that maybe it doesn't make sense for us to consider a different person for this role, external. But internal, obviously. That's something that it's always good to challenge yourself, because imagine that you have built the entire team around yourself. You're not able to delegate and so on, and then something happening and you are no longer the CEO. So what will happen with the company?
It'll crumble.
Big question. Exactly. So.
It's funny, and I want to keep riffing on this, and then we'll jump to this other piece that I wanted to bring up, which is if you take the approach of building the company around you, you've effectively, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you've effectively given yourself another job, like a job that you report into. That all the freedom and everything else that you see on social media of like, I could do this, I could do that, like. There's no stepping away. The machine stops with you, and so the incentive is to your point. Build a team not around you but with you. And so going to this idea of the hero mentality we spent a little bit of time talking about, I think it would be good to understand how you recognize that in yourself and how you started to manage for that through your years at Incense, because that's really a mindset shift. Like you could come up with the type of work that you want to delegate down to people, etc. But until you shift the mindset, the rest of the behaviors will not change. So interested in what your thoughts and frames are on that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, to the point and to my previous example, early days of Incense, I was a different leader. Maybe not a different person, many things are still the same, but a different leader 100%, because again, I was demanding a lot. I was pushing the team to the next level. But the point is that our business model and our product is not something that you will see the success within the first, not even a month, couple of years. So we are barely making some couple of $1,000 as GMV a month. And then I was questioning myself, like, why we're still here. But then I realized that, yes, it's taken longer to build a marketplace. So that's why I think my mindset was also towards realizing what is the industry, what is the product. So I think it's all about questioning yourself, am I the right person to deliver this? Am I the only person who can do that? So I would say like this is the way how I divide this into the square, right? And then I putting the task between that. So it's more about like I'm the right person, I'm not the right person for this. I'm the only person who can deliver this because of the understanding of the industry, because of my time, because of many other things. And then maybe I'm not the only person who can deliver. For instance, speaking at the podcasts, right? I wish that some of my team members, they will be guests at the podcast because they're way smarter than me. They have more expertise than me, 100%. In many things, right? We also realize that they don't have time or they don't have patience. So in that case, when it comes to can I delegate to be the guest in a podcast, when it comes to the marketing, not these specific podcasts, but like more the
Sure.
one that we are sometimes even sponsoring, right? So we are questioning ourselves like, okay, can I be, like, maybe I'm one of the best person in the team. Yes, that's true, because I know the industry, I know I can speak about Incense and things like that. Cool, that's check marked. But then the question is that, am I the only person here? No, I'm not. And what we're starting doing that is that preparing a couple of more speakers, and finally they're getting there. So I'm super excited about this because I want to my team to speak about the industry. Their knowledge is priceless. So that's why whenever something new is popping up, I also trying to understand. For instance, like I have a real task, and there is nothing bad in this to share. I feel it one of the best way how our business is growing. So once the customers genuinely love the product, they start recommending us, right? Though they are not doing that with just sharing the links or codes or whatsoever. That's not the way how they're doing that. They're just dropping intros. And then what we figure out that some of the customers who are actually at agencies, they are bringing up their own clients towards that. But it's not every single agency. It's the agencies who are focusing on media buying, plus they also might be running some of the courses or schools to educate and things like that. Those people are the best ones for the affiliate, right?
Sure.
Because they can bring the scale and whenever they're recommending something, their audience trusts them. So we have a few examples of the people that you, Blake, might be even knowing. They are great, right? They are leveraging Incense, and they refer to us many businesses. So what we're trying to do right now is to reach out other people that we identified. But then the question is that, shall I pass along this to my business assistant to reach out even on behalf of my email or on behalf of my LinkedIn, but as a cold outreach? I mean, naturally it feels the right way, right? Because this is the people that I don't know. It's okay to send them something generic. But at the same time, it feels that so unnatural because you want to build the relations with your affiliates and you have no idea like whether these people will even take a call from you.
Sure.
Right? So that's why, do I have time for this? No, I don't. But shall I find some time for that? Because I'm the best person and I'm the only person who can go and ask for a connection to Chase or Blake or someone else, because I see that there are mutual connections on LinkedIn, let's say, and then I'm saying like, hey, Blake, do you know this guy? Like, can you connect me? Here's the context why, and then you're saying no, I don't know this person, and that's I think something about the delegation. It's also understanding like I'm the only person who can deliver this, or I'm not. Well, it also depends on the quality of the outcome that you want to invest and build. I feel that for the affiliate and for building relations, I would very much prefer to cut some of my things and investing there because I want to build the relations with those people. I want to be present there rather than my business assistant. She's going to be pretending me and outreaching these people in cold whatever like DMs and then saying and just trying to continue follow-upping with them. No, it's me who is outreaching because I value time, so I'm ready to invest my time. So that's why like it's a constant way how to understand. But am I the only person who can do that? Am I the best person? This is my ways how I'm approaching the delegation.
I think that is one of the biggest nuggets that we've had on this entire conversation. There's been really good gold nuggets throughout this conversation, but this one I really want to key into because I think it's the diamond, which is once you've identified what you want to delegate, actually gauging passion and interest around the effort with the person you're speaking to is of the utmost importance. Because I would almost characterize it as, are you going to be having someone push a boulder up a hill that is 3 times the size of themselves and they have no desire to do that? Or are you giving someone an opportunity to pull the boulder up with a vehicle that can just help them fly? And passion truly is the fuel to whether you're pushing up just by yourself or whether you're driving with a car to pull that rock up the hill. So I really appreciate that particular call out. Is there a way that you gauge passion? So, and the reason why I'm asking this is I think some leaders will ask their team members directly and say, hey, are you interested in this? Are you passionate about this? And a lot of people that I've seen in different parts of the world will just say yes and don't have that open conversation. And so how have you worked through first having those open conversations and engaging that passion, but also understanding the zone of genius for the people that you're working with that increase the probability of it being something that they're interested in?
Well, my strong belief is that before you delegate anything, you need to do a lot of homework. What is the objective? what is the task, what is the ways of working you are thinking about that, and things like that. So that's why whenever you came up with a new idea or whatever is happening here, just put some homework before you're going to be just dropping as it is to some person and like, okay, go and figure out something with that. So this is not something that many people will be aligned if they will just get the forwarded email with the like try to figure out, you know, like what figure out, what is the objective, why we're doing, how it's integrated in our strategy, or does it even make sense? So that's why I always like figure out that whenever it's happening there, if it's not out of the processes that are already in the place, so take your time on a homework and work on this. So once you put together why it's happening, how it's fit to your strategy, why you are doing, then I would say I would be always presenting this on a high level without going into the details, and then ask the person like, what do you think about this? Just open feedback, whatever. If it's like a bullshit, you don't believe in this, that's really great. So because maybe I'm just trying to trick myself, right? So that's why like do your homework, because people will hate that if it's going to be a role dropping to them and then asking them what do you think, like in an open conversation, but never going into details, because if you're going to be delegate something that is already kind of like executed in your mind, and then you just basically describe every single step that is going to be accomplished, these people will not really pumped for this work because someone created how it's going to be executed. I would say always work on why, maybe what, but never how. So how it's definitely on the person that you potentially delegate, if they are pumped for this idea, if they have time for that, and you confirm this. So in that case, let them like how. And if they will ask you, okay, how to execute it, you say like, look, I don't know. If you need my help, I'm always here to jam about this and things like that. But how about you taking this idea and then circle back next week with what we can do about this, and then if you need my help, I'm always here.
One thing that you called out there that really stuck out to me is handing the baton off to the people that you're delegating down to. This is not to your point, I'm going to give you the full lay of the land, these are all the details. This is your responsibility, and here is the expectation that I would like to see on the outcome of this. Go figure out how to bring it to life. I think that is also an interesting piece to, once you make this a part of your culture of your organization, to carry into the interview process as well too. Because there are a lot of people out there that don't like ambiguity, don't like the nature of like, hey, I'm getting an idea and I have to go figure out how to go execute on it. And that's okay. That's okay if there's people out there that just want to know their steps from A to Z, and this is what their job is, day in and day out. Yep. They work 40 hours, etc. But I think for the nature of successful delegation and a growing, budding organization in the early stages, those skill sets are so important. I'm interested. So we spent some time, we talked about your style, your learnings along the way, etc. Let's look at today. And if you were to step away for 2 weeks, what do you think would break and why?
It's a good question. Nothing. If we're not in the middle of fundraise, where like the last conversations and things like that, nothing will break in the business. Like 2 weeks. That's actually another idea to challenge yourself. Like how are the team is right and the processes are there. And sometimes you might have a strong team who is backing by themselves, so it's not telling that you have a great processes, and vice versa, right? But I feel that we have both like a great team as well as the a lot of processes in place. So that's why 2 weeks proven, moreover 1 month proven. 6 months, I think that's kind of the timing that I'm challenging myself. Let's say I want to go to sabbatical, which is really uncommon if you're running startup company. But let's say like I'm completely burnt out and I need this 6 months completely off, serving in Bali, enjoying my life and forgetting about like business metrics and things like that. I think number one, what is going to be breaking is all investor relations, fundraising, in case that we're going to be having those, and this is really impactful. That's going to be definitely just done without me, right? The second one, I think, mid-term strategy
Sure.
might be not that clear. I think a short-term strategy, that's where we have the alignment, and the team will understand clearly what is going to be the next step for the next quarter and things like that. So that's why 2 quarters, it's a simple thing to look through. Mid-term strategy, when it comes to 1 year, 2 years, it's kind of under the question, because I'm in the center of the market, talking to everyone, trying to gather the information about the competitive solutions, just in general, like what's new on the industry, how our potential customers are going to be reflecting on these things and this value, vice versa with the creators, right? And that's kind of stuff. So that's why I don't believe that for the midterm strategy, we have the right person right now. That's definitely going to be broken. And the third one, I think the presence of us in the space might be less. I think we're doing phenomenal work when it comes to the inbound marketing, just phenomenal. And I'm not touching this. That's a good point. But
Sure.
when it comes to the more like awareness, podcasts, sharing some thoughtful leadership, being present at the conferences, talking to the other people, building a network, because many of the folks in the space, they know not only Incense, they know Danil. Some of our competitors, they're just names, they're just logotypes, they are software. They're not a human being who's
Sure.
behind the wheels. So I think that's definitely something that we're going to be missing if I'm going to be disappeared for the next 6 months. But 2 weeks, 1 month, even quarter, we're fully proven.
First of all, amazing that you guys have gotten to that level. That's a testament to yourself as well as the rest of the leadership team to be able to support that sort of effort. And I think it all ties back to the frameworks you're alluding to. It's like employ those frameworks, and you'll be able to get yourself to a point where you could at least step away for a month, which to many founders is something that is a dream at this point in time. And so I think an interesting comment that you made, and I think it circles back to this whole concept of making sure that you are leveraging the matrix that you were alluding to. Like, you couldn't get to that outcome without being able to say, what is my zone of genius, and what is something that I can't hand off based off those responsibilities. And everything that you listed out, those 3 items, I feel like all fall within your categorization of this is something Danil needs to own, and that's why it's not able to be handed off at this point. Am I putting words in your mouth, or does that sound on base?
No, that sounds on base.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, I'm interested if you could go back and give yourself some advice. You're rewinding back 8 years from today. Everything that you've learned coming through this whole process, from delegation, leadership, etc. What advice would you give to your former self to help you get to this outcome that you've already realized more quickly?
I think clearly reflect on your own skills, your own where you are at the being a founder or being a CEO. So I think this self-reflection is really important, because you might not yet matured enough or know about the industry enough to make a calls and pushing everyone forward or starting delegating the things. At early shoes, you will be doing a lot of stuff, and then once you figure out that there is needs to be done, there should be a better person for this job, then bring up this person and delegate, and making sure that this person is going to be champion for this. So hiring the right people, it's always the key thing. It's a different topic to jam about that, but it's you need to fire fast, hire slow, but making sure that there is a right person, especially for your executive team. I would be starting not being myself in a hero mode for for a lot of time. So because you, in any way, you're going to be hero, you're going to be finding new things because you're excited about this project. There is something there, but at the same time, stop putting more and more things on yourself, and only when the main processes and main KPIs in your company going to be fulfilled by other people, then you can always like wearing this hero costume on yourself and making sure that you're going to be flying and dealing with the a lot of uncertainty. But before of that, just making sure that you are backed with the right people who is going to be delivering the key things in your company, and then making sure that they're going to be your champions, they're going to be your heroes, not you, or you're going to be the only hero in the company. That's not the right way.
I love it. Build a team of superheroes.
Avengers.
Basically what you. Yeah, there you go. The Avengers. I love the call out. There's some branding there. One other question for you before we wrap for today. If you, outside of you having to go back and reflect on some of the things that have transpired, what are you most hopeful for looking into the future? You see, before the call started, or before our conversation started, you're saying a lot of good things are happening for Incense, especially with all of the headwinds that have going on within the industry. Incense is still finding a way to grow. So what are you most excited for over the next 6 months to a year?
I think I'm going to be just as anyone else. I'm constantly fascinated by AI, but not in a different way. How some of the folks in the space, they're challenging, they're saying that all of the creators and influencers are going to be replaced by AI, and it's going to be done for them for the business, and that's going to be a really hard impact on Incense. We're actually seeing vice versa. Once the people are trying to do something with a fake AI UGC, they're actually coming back to us, and they need real content. But why I'm excited about AI, because we're working a lot of around the AI agents for both our internal processes as well as client-facing things that we're going to be launching in the next few months. And it's going to be really exciting how AI can help you to a lot of value for the less time. And whenever I'm touching this, I'm like, wow, this is something that I couldn't even possibly think 7 years ago. We just like were about to launch the company, right? And then trying to do like the first steps. I couldn't possibly even imagine. That's why I'm a bit of envy to the companies who just starting right now. Sure. Because they're starting with keeping in mind that we're going to be only 10 people. Because we're going to be, everything is going to be automated, everything is going to be connected, and that's the way how we're going to be working. For us, it's a lot of challenge, but that also brings a lot of excitement, because we can implement some of the things providing by AI into the current processes and seeing the big shift of what's going on there, and how we're going to be even more scalable. That's definitely something that I'm being excited a lot.
Absolutely. It's funny. Peter Thiel has a quote that he talks about people oversizing the risk of something and undersizing the upside of something. And it's human nature, right? Like, it's really hard for us to conceive the potential upside or understand exponential upside. And I think, to your point, so much goodness is coming from AI, and some of the things that we're even conceiving today, it's probably 100-fold better than what we can even imagine. So, Danil, as always, it is such a joy chatting with you. Your insights and perspective on how to delegate effectively and how to avoid falling into that delegation trap, I know has very likely hit a nerve with so many of our listeners. And for those listeners that are feeling the stress and the angst, like we spoke about earlier on in the call, if you're falling into that trap, it's okay. Just reflect on the fact that you don't have to be the hero. It's not about building a team around you. It's about building a team around the mission and the vision of the company. And Danil has dropped some very great knowledge bombs for you to leverage going into the future. So Danil, thanks so much for joining today.
Thanks so much, Blake.